We the redeemed denied their blood and mocked the gates it won. All that they had, they gave, and they shall not return. For these are those that have no grave, where any heart may mourn. Father and mother put aside, and nearer love also. 100,000 men, 100,000 men, 100,000 men who died, whose grave shall no one know. All that they had, they gave.
Welcome. We're glad you're here for the Superintendent's State of Our Schools address. I'm Becca Kraft, a senior at Frey State High School. Would you please help me thank Director Heather Smith and the Liberty Memorial Central Middle School Excalibur Choir, accompanied by Diana Ice. I first met Dr. Lewis back in 2018. He walked into my science classroom and asked us what we thought we could do to improve our middle school. I raised my hand, and in a conversation I highly doubt he remembers, I asked him if we could have microwaves in our cafeteria. 3 months later, a microwave showed up, and even though that might have been a coincidence, I learned something important about Dr. Lewis. He listens to his students. I've had the privilege of working with Dr. Anthony Lewis for the past 4 years as a member of a student advisory committee. During the 5 years that he has served as our district superintendent, he has done a lot more than just install microwaves. His initial listening and learning tour led to the creation of the district's first 5-year strategic plan in decades. Dr. Lewis was appointed by Governor Laura Kelly and has served on the Kansas African American Affairs Commission since 2019 and the Commission on Racial Equity and Justice since 2020. His dedication to leadership and this district has led to him being recognized as one of the National Schools Public Relations Association Superintendents to Watch, and in September of 2020. If one thing is clear from Dr. Lewis's time in this district, is that he cares a lot about the students and staff. He makes an effort to attend all students' games and events, and I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to spend my high school years working with him. All that being said, please give a warm welcome to our USD 497 Superintendent, Dr. Anthony Lewis.
Getting that set up. Becca, thank you so much for that warm introduction. And most importantly, thank you, Becca, for serving on my Superintendent Student Advisory Council now for 4 years. So we have been through a lot. We've seen a lot. We talked about a lot as a Student Superintendent Advisory Council, and I'm just so fortunate to have students like Becca that definitely doesn't mind sharing her thoughts, opinions on input or feedback that we may be seeking. So it's really hugely important for me when I first got here. A lot of times in education, in media education spaces, school systems do things to students and not necessarily with them. It's my belief that in order for us to improve the student outcomes, we have to talk to them, right? And so it's important for me to spend time monthly with them. We have a group meet, and so sometimes if I'm in a meeting and I want some immediate feedback, I just send a quick group meet text to the students and say, hey, what do you think about this? So thank you so much, Becca, for being here this evening. And thank you all so much for being here. In the midst of rain, you still showed up, and for that, I am grateful. I would love to have packed this auditorium, but I do believe that the right people are here, are in the room. We often say, maybe preach to the choir. Well, guess what the choir does? The choir goes out and sings the good news. And so we'll have the opportunity to go and sing the good news from hearing the State of the Schools address. It is certainly with immense pride and just a level of excitement that I stand before you this evening as your proud superintendent. I am truly humbled by the opportunity to provide the State of the Schools address, which I don't think has been done, or if it has been done, it's been years. I thought it was very important that in year 6, that I come back out and share with you all some of the progress, some of the challenges. We have been through a lot together. We think about it with COVID, with budget cuts and other things that were going on. We have been through a lot together. And you all make us stronger as a school system. And so tonight, my message is simple. We have a lot to be proud of in this district. We've made some tremendous progress. There are challenges that we must address. And when we do address these challenges and come together as a community, the best is yet to come for us. Our better days are ahead of us if we remain focused and lean on one another, because we are certainly stronger together. As a good educator does always start off with our agenda for this evening, this is what we're hoping to cover. We'll start with an overview of the district. A lot has changed in 6 years. We'll talk about some graduation and post-secondary successes. We'll look at some ELA and math data. We'll talk a little bit about our equity work. And as I mentioned, with those budget cuts, we closed a couple of schools, actually closed 3 schools over the past years. So we'll talk about the results of that. And then we're going to interrupt this and have an amazing student performance by Harris and Leiszler. And then we'll come back and talk about staff, school, and district celebrations. And then finally, some challenges, or what I like to call opportunities. And then ways that you all can get involved. Is that okay? All right, let's jump right in. So when I first arrived here in Lawrence 6 years ago, and again, it's hard to believe it's been 6 years. I was on KLWN, I was telling Joel this morning that the average life expectancy of a school superintendent is about 2 to 3 years. Hey. It's about 2 to 3 years of life expectancy of a school superintendent. So 6 years, I may consider myself an old timer, I don't know. But when I arrived, I stated that I wanted to really engulf myself in this community. So I joined many boards and organizations at the local, state, and national levels. I also observed when I arrived here how governmental entities operated in silos, and I wanted to work to build those relationships with our governmental partners. And so we have created several things, and one of those is unified leadership. And this is an opportunity for leaders of many of these organizations that you see on the screen. We meet monthly to just talk about the work. We talk about some challenges that we all are facing and how we can lean on each other in terms of support. In addition, I meet monthly with Sarah Polinsky and Craig Owens. We like to call ourselves the Mod Squad. Now, most students, you probably don't know anything about the Mod Squad. But we meet monthly to talk about, again, the work, and much of the work that we do as a school system, the work that Craig does with the city commissioners and Sarah does with the county commissioners, impact each other. So it's critically important that we have these conversations, that we talk occasionally. This is a screenshot from yesterday's meeting, which is a really good meeting. We talked about some of the challenges that I'll talk about here in just a moment, and some potential solutions to some of those. We also like to thank our school board members with over 40 combined years of school governance. Would you please help me thank my 7 bosses, your Lawrence Public Schools Board of Education members. Here, are there others? I know there were some commitments from some of their children. Who was that in the back? Bob is here, so did I miss any school board members? Kelly is here. These lights are bright up here. Where are you, Kelly? There you are. All right, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, most importantly, for your years of service, your leadership, and your support of Lawrence Public Schools. This is our school district's org chart, and these are the education administrators that I get the amazing opportunity to work with each and every day. And so here it represents about 22 administrators. Patrick Kelly, who's our Chief Academic Officer, he supports the academic side of the house, and Dr. Senior, there you go, hey Patrick. And Dr. Larry Eaglebrick, our Chief Operations Officer, supports the operational side of the house. And we have to acknowledge the amazing Julie Boyle, Communications Director. We also know our Lawrence Schools Foundation, which is a huge partner and support for us. Also, a huge thank you to our LEA, representing our certified staff, and the membership of the PAL CWA, representing classified staff. I meet monthly with leadership of both of these unions. Emerson Hopsdalis, are they here? I don't see them. Tatiana Younger and Ashley Michaels, representing PAL CWA. We meet monthly. And when they go out to conferences, they come back and tell me how they talk to other union presidents around the country. And they're asking them, how do you get time to meet with your superintendent? Or do you all meet with the superintendent? And for them to say, yes, we have a standing meeting monthly, that's unheard of, really, in some school systems. And so our theme this year as a school system is Stronger Together. And this is a phrase that resonates deeply within the very core of our educational journey together. And so as we continue to work together, we're reminded of the strength that emanates from our unity, our shared purpose, and unwavering commitment to our scholars' growth and success. And so again, I want to thank all of you. Most importantly, thank you to all of our staff. Thank you to our union partners that are in this mission with us. They helped us increase salaries. We implemented a new salary matrix to also improve working conditions. And while we still have a lot of work to do in that area to get all of our employees to where we want them to be, this certainly does not diminish the fact that these negotiated agreements and compensation packages represent significant progress on our board's top financial goal, and that's to provide competitive wages, to recruit and retain high-quality staff to serve our scholars. So speaking of being stronger together, this is who makes us stronger. All 1,536 employees, our 852 teachers and other certified personnel, our 626 classified and non-contracted support staff, and our 58 administrators, which includes our building and district administrators. This is our staff. You also notice an average year of service as well. We, again, are the 7th largest school district in the state of Kansas, and you just met 7 school board members. And we do what we do because of the 10,658 students that's currently in Lawrence Public Schools. You can also see the demographic makeup of our scholars. This includes about 35% students of color, and about 40% of our students are economically disadvantaged. And we operate and support 23 campuses that are listed there on the right-hand side of your screen. And when we compare our racial and ethnic makeup of our students and staff, we compare it to our students, compare it to our staff and our school board. I really think this is impressive. If you notice that we have pretty much a balance there. Definitely some work to do in terms of recruiting more staff of color, but this is something that I believe that should be reflected from the boardroom all the way down to the classroom as we think about our racial and ethnic makeup of our school district. Now, this particular graph shows a breakdown of expenditures, and this is from 22-23 budget. And you'll notice that the state separates instruction, instructional support, and student support services. So combined, these 3 categories make up about 60% of our budget. And as you know, the district must get the students to school and feed them when they get there so that they can learn. So transportation and food services expenses combined total 7% of last year's spending. Then capital improvements at 9%. This includes facilities, furnishings, and equipment, and district administration, building administration, and central services. Those expenses totaled 8%, as did operations and maintenance and debt services. And so if you add up all of the supports that's needed in the school buildings, over 75% that's directly in the building. And so that's a little bit about in terms of where our money goes. And this is the why. And so I love this quote from Simon Sinek that says, keeping your why at the forefront, and as an organization, keeping our why, our collective commitment at the forefront is hugely important. And so you may ask, well, what is our why? This is our vision for Lawrence Public Schools. It's the school board, administration, teachers, and staff who build positive relationships. I won't read all this to you, but the ultimate goal is that all students achieve at high levels, graduate on time, and are well prepared for their future. And so most importantly, this is our charge. This is our vision, our collective commitment. And we do, this is just words on paper if it's not carried out in action. This is why we do what we do. Just want that to sit there for a moment. You've had the amazing opportunity to hear from some of our scholars, but this is what gets me out of bed every single morning. And I will tell you, there will be times as an educational organization, there will be times when teachers and staff that we question our own impact. And we wonder sometimes, are we really making a difference? Does our effort yield anything? And we must always know that when we keep the main thing, and focus on growth, we will always make a difference. And we must not be deterred by others. So in our schools, every teacher, every student, every staff member, and parents contributes to the tapestry of knowledge, compassion, and inspiration that transforms lives. And just as each thread weaves into a strong fabric, so do our collective efforts mold the future of our community and our society at large. And so we talk about a theme of stronger together. This theme encapsulates the power of collaboration, as it is through collaboration that we are able to surmount challenges and celebrate triumphs, no matter the circumstances that we face. Now, speaking of challenges, I cannot stand before you tonight without acknowledging the budget constraints that have certainly tested our resolve. We recognize that we have had to make some tough decisions to ensure that our educational system's sustainability and growth, the need to improve staff salaries, which was a long-standing concern, was a hurdle that we just could not ignore. And despite those financial constraints, we made it a priority to prioritize our educators who tirelessly dedicate themselves to molding the minds of the next generation. It wasn't an easy road. Oh, it was not. But it was a necessary one that was driven by a shared understanding that investing in our educators is synonymous with investing in our scholars' future. And so because of the tough decisions that we made, the tough decisions that our school board made to set the district on a sound financial footing for the future and to reallocate this to the savings from cuts and closures, we were able to invest $6.65 million in staff wages because our staff is worth it. Let me say that again, $6.65 million into staff wages. So to put that into perspective, the year before, we invested $1.7 million into staff wages. This certainly is a step in the right direction, and it's also a historic one because the likes of this have not been done in close to 2 decades. And so what that means for our certified staff, one, we were able to revise our salary matrix to make it a little bit more competitive. And so depending on the number of years of services, our certified staff saw an increase of anywhere between $400 all the way up to $11,000, again, depending on the years of experience. And our classified staff, in this community, we heard that we wanted to get our classified staff to a livable wage at that time. It was around $15 an hour. And so we were able to get close to 70% of our classified staff to $15 or more. There's more work to be done in that area, but I will tell you we are headed in the right direction. Special education was a hard and still is a hard area to fill, and our board supported $1,800 in stipends to help fill those hard positions. And in addition to those staff salaries, we always have, and I will always be an advocate to always continue to do this, and that's pay 100% of the cost of single coverage health, vision, dental insurance benefits to teachers and for classified staff that are work 30 plus hours. The board increased our substitute pay by $10, and just probably about 2 hours ago, I was sitting in a meeting where we were talking about ways that we can increase our substitute pay even more to make it competitive. This is the investment that we wanted to make into our staff because our staff is an indispensable group, and we plan to continue to invest in them because they produce results for us. We also face the challenges of maintaining the quality of education with limited resources. Yet, even in the face of these difficulties, we've witnessed remarkable achievements. Our students' success in academics, sports, arts, and community service stand as a testament to the resilience and dedication of everyone involved in their education. I want to say thank you to all of our staff and families for their resilience and sacrifices that they've made during these challenging times. I am so proud of the progress we made for our scholars. The results are in our data. We are graduating more students, and as you can see on the screen, as the state increased by 1 percentage point, we increased by 5 percentage points. And so we're on the move for our scholars. We're on the move with this goal in mind. And so whether you're a Lawrence High, Chesney Lion, a Free State Firebird, Lawrence Virtual School, Griffin, thank you, Lawrence Virtual School, I was going to say Phoenix, but it's a Griffin. Adult Basic Ed graduate, Community Connections, or Project Search, our goal is to prepare our students for college or careers. And that's difficult to say in a college town that every student is not going to college, and that's okay. But it's our job as an educational system to prepare them so that they can make the decision of whether they want to go into the world of work or if they want to enroll into a 2 or 4 year college. And so as part of our promise that was in our strategic plan, and as a reminder, we adopted this 5-year strategic plan in June of 2019. And we all know what happened the very next year, right? And so we wanted to ensure that students of all races, backgrounds, and abilities graduate on time, prepare for success in college and in careers. And so, as I mentioned, we are graduating more students. And so this shows 10 years of graduation rate data. As you can see, in 2022, our board administration, teachers, and staff guided students to earn the highest graduation rate in 16 years. The highest graduation rate in 16 years. That is truly remarkable and a true testament to the hard work of our staff, families, and most importantly, our scholars. Not only are we graduating more students on time, we're actually closing some of those gaps. And so here you see that for some of these racial and ethnic subgroups, that they have either increased or maintained over the past 5 years. And so it's evident that we are closing some of those gaps there. If you can see, look at our white students, about 90%. Our Hispanic students increased to 83% there, and our African American students, 89%. Still a lot of work to be done in that area, but we are certainly closing those gaps. Not only are we graduating more students on time, we are sending some of them to college with some college credits and hopefully less college debt. This is certainly thanks to our partnership with KU. We have increased our course offerings and the number of students that are taking Jayhawk Blueprint courses. These are our concurrent enrollment classes that are offered in our high schools. So these are KU classes that are offered in our high schools. And so as you can see, it's from its inception in 2017, 2018, it has increased by 370%. So many thanks to our Lawrence Schools Foundation and Trinity Credit Union for supporting our disadvantaged students, our students that are receiving free and reduced lunch rate. They get to take advantage of these classes absolutely free. So our middle schools, let me tell you now, Jayhawk Blueprint. For those of you that plan to go to college or not, you still can take some of those classes. Again, it's at a fraction of what it would normally cost. If you attend KU and then transfer to any college or university around the country. AP classes are important as well. We're not competing with AP classes. I tell families, if your child is really, really strong in biology, let them take the AP biology course and pass the AP biology test. If they struggle in math, let them take the math one-on-one college class in our high schools with their peers. So really excited about this partnership. And this partnership actually caught the eye of our U.S. Secretary, Miguel Cardona. This was one of the reasons that he chose to visit Lawrence, along with some additional funding that he provides. KU had an opportunity to share with him some of the work that we're doing with Jayhawk Blueprint. In addition, we offer 23 career pathways, 22 advanced placement courses, and more students are receiving business and industry recognized credentials. You can see that increase from 2017 to 23. And these are certifications, for example, a CNA certification that many of our students have at our college and career centers are receiving. So they're leaving us, those that want to go into careers, they're leaving us with these credentials and the ability to make a pretty decent wage leaving high school. So I want to spend a few moments talking about our Kansas Assessment Program data. This is what you know as our state assessment, or some may call our CAP data. And so before we look at some of our data, I want to just kind of outline the levels. This is how our students score based on the results. They score level 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then those scores are based on these scale scores here within these levels. Okay, so for level 1, that just shows a student has a limited ability to understand the skills, knowledge needed for post-secondary readiness. So this assessment assesses how well we're teaching state standards. Level 2 shows a basic ability to understand. That is, level 2 is on grade level. Level 3 shows an effective ability, and level 4 an excellent ability. For college and career purposes, the state has pushed school districts to increase the number of students that are scoring levels 3 and 4. Again, I will add, level 2 is on grade level. It certainly is on grade level. When we look at some of our longitudinal data at the state level, about 94% of the students that score levels 2 go on to graduate high school. So let's take a look at how we're doing. First of all, with levels in ELA, which is English Language Arts, 69% of our students in grades 3 through 8, 10, those are the only tested grades, they score at levels 2 and above, 69%. That is good, but we still have 31% that are scoring in level 1. And when we break down the number of students that are scoring in level 1, the percentage in level 1, the vast majority of our students that score level 1 score at upper end of level 1. So schools are really working to decrease the number of students that are scoring in level 1. As part of my evaluation, our school board has included in my evaluation reducing the number of students of color, students in special education that are scoring level 1. So that's part of my goal as a superintendent as well. Take a look at math, 68% scores level 2 and above. So still some work to do in that area. Again, as I mentioned, the state really looks at students who score levels 3 and 4. So if we take a look at the past 2 years of how we've been doing in English Language Arts, you will see that there have been some increases there from 22 to 23. 22 is the blue bar, 23 is the gold bar. So there have been some increases in terms of percentage. This represents percentage of students that are scoring in levels 3 and 4 for grades 3 through 10. As you can see, 8th grade is an area that we still continue to struggle, and that was a part of our strategic plan. One of the goals in our strategic plan was to include and increase math proficiency. I know this is ELA, but include math proficiency in 8th grade and 3rd grade reading proficiency on our state assessment. Take a look at math. Still some increases there. We're really proud of the increase there at 5th grade. 57% of our students score levels 3 and 4 in math in 3rd grade. And again, 8th grade is an area that we will continue to focus on. We kind of remain stagnant there. We look at our subgroups. We showed some gains in our subgroups. Students with free and reduced lunch rate, students with disabilities, our ELL students. Really excited about the gains of our Asian students as well as our African American students from 14 to 17%. Again, this is levels 3 and 4. Although we're headed in the right direction, still a tremendous amount of work to do there with our ELA data, or English Language Art data. Take a look at our math subgroup data. Again, trending in the right direction, but still quite a bit of work to do in that area. And so when we look at this data, we also look at what are some potential barriers? What are some potential barriers as to students moving either from out of level 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and so forth? The fact of the matter is, this is our reality, is that many of our scholars who come to school with barriers like this, our staff works really, really hard to address and support these barriers. And so it's really difficult to learn when you're hungry. And so a huge thank you to our Lawrence Schools Foundation and our local Rotary clubs. They just finished a snack drive that will provide snacks to all of our schools. And so should a student come in hungry, I will tell you, if the student comes in hungry, finishing your 2-digit multiplication worksheet is not at the top of my agenda that day. But if you give me a meal, if you give me a granola bar, if you give me something, now I can be ready to learn. So this is just some of the things that we continue to work on in terms of addressing some of the barriers. But in order for us to do that, it's important that we build relationships with our students. And by addressing this, we can help to eliminate and control for some of those variables that many of our scholars come to school with. And I love this quote. It says, building relationships with students is by far the most important thing a teacher can do. Without a solid foundation of relationships built on trust and respect, no quality learning will happen. And so we must continue to build and cultivate those relationships. And I like what Dr. James Comer says, that no significant learning occurs without a significant relationship. And not only are our students internally building relationships and identifying those barriers, we are so fortunate to partner with Engage Douglas County, our Lawrence Police Department, as we offer a Handle with Care program. And so relationships matter also outside the classroom. So this Handle with Care program, which our board approved last year, is a partnership with the Lawrence Police Department, DECA, where they have assisted to date over 100 students detailing from traumatic events that were supported by law enforcement. And so this program trains law enforcement officers to share a Handle with Care message with our school mental health staff, and so that the school is aware and can support the needs of the student. And so if a police officer was called to a home, our SROs will work with our principals and just pass the message on Handle with Care. And that lets a teacher know that if little Anthony comes into the class and his head is down, and you have the Handle with Care message, you know not to sit up and pick your head up, but you are aware of maybe some events or traumatic events that may have taken place just the night before. I will tell you, after speaking with superintendents from around the country and watching some of the news, particularly in Florida, I am so fortunate that I get an opportunity to lead a district and a community that allows us to focus on all students. This certainly is transformative work. And I appreciate our school board for passing the district's first ever equity policy that guides this work. It guides our work and includes some accountability measures to ensure that students' educational outcomes can no longer be predicated on race, socioeconomic status, and other historically marginalized identities. And this is just a snapshot from our equity policy CAA, that our board passed last year. And it really causes us to really look at how we operate and how we look at equity in a different way. Many of you have probably seen the cartoon depiction of equity versus equality, where the children are on the other side of the fence. I think that does a really good introduction to the difference between equality and equity, but I really like this one. So this one, in this depiction, this is obviously is inequality, because there's one young student over here that has access to more apples than this one. And what some school districts do, we just provide the students with the same resources, and we begin to think, okay, yes, we've addressed equity, we provided both the same resources, but we're not there. Because as you can clearly see, this young student still does not have access to the amount of apples that this student does. And so we may give one student a taller letter. And again, most school districts stop there because we have given this student a taller letter. That's equity, right? But are we there yet? No, Becca, we're not there. Because again, there's obviously more apples on this side of the tree. Well, that's not fair. That student has a taller letter. It's about access, and it's about the system. And so I really like this, where we actually fix the tree, or fix the system that has been for too long providing advantages for some while providing disadvantages for others. This is where when we look at the subgroup data, this is where we begin to see more increases when we provide access and create a system where all students have equal access to a quality education. And guess what? It's happening. It's happening right here in this school district. And I want to share you a success story of Swegler Elementary School, where they are closing the gaps and seeing some amazing gains. And so this represents 5 years of data for math in grades 3, 4, and 5. As you can see, the 23 bar is the blue bar. And I apologize for our listeners on KLWN that you can't see these bars, but take my word for it. It's the highest that they've been in 5 years. That's truly remarkable in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade for math. Take a look at ELA, very similar. The highest they've been in 5 years, with the exception of 3rd, 4th grade right here in 2019. But when we think about our equity work, this is where I really get excited, because every single subgroup showed an increase in math. Every single subgroup. Every subgroup, an increase in math. Similarly, in ELA, look at this. African American, there was 0% of students that scored levels 3 and 4 in 2022. And now we have 25%. Again, increases in every single subgroup. And look what they did for the students with disabilities, from 4% to 25%. So don't tell me that when a group of educators, dedicated educators, come together with this unwavering belief that all students can learn. Not only do I believe that, but now I'm going to show you how all students can learn. This is truly remarkable from the work over at Square. When we talked to Dr. Comfort, the principal there, he talked about how it was a culture that was right for this. It was also professional learning communities, what our teachers go through, was relationships among not only students, but also students and families as well as implementation of AVIC strategies. And so our commitment to providing quality education on all of our campuses remains unwavering. And it is through our collective efforts of our exceptional educators, our families, and our entire community that we will continue to shine brightly. And so as a community, we must continue to work together. We must remember that while we face constraints, it is our unity that remains a limitless resource. And so together, we can continue to innovate, adapt, and thrive. Often challenges breed creativity, and it's our collective efforts that will pave the way for creative solutions that ensure every single student receives the education that they deserve. Creative solutions like the New York Montessori, where New York Principal Sonny Halstead and the entire New York staff helped open the district's and the state's first public Montessori program. We had a highly productive Montessori planning meeting just a couple of weeks ago. Considering our current enrollment and our number of students that are on the wait list and strong interest for the Montessori program, we're exploring the possibilities of potentially adding additional classrooms there. And so to put that in perspective, historically, New York Elementary School has, for at least about the past decade, operated around maybe 200 students enrollment there. And so with the projections and the wait list, we could reach capacity there of 300 at New York. And this is far off, but we were talking about what it looked like to add additional classes there. So the Montessori program is doing exactly what we thought it would do in terms of increasing enrollment in that area. And I will tell you, this is definitely a wonderful challenge to face. And it is certainly a neighborhood school. It's still a neighborhood school. It's not a magnet school. It's not a charter school. Not a private school. It's a neighborhood school for families there in New York, absolutely free. Again, to put it in perspective, it costs anywhere between $13,000 to $18,000 a year for private Montessori education. But our students and families are receiving that absolutely free. And so you may ask, okay, and this was one of the buildings that had lower enrollment, and this is what some of the things that we're doing to increase the enrollment there. This just kind of shows where our public and private Montessori schools are around the country, and we are officially on the map there. So that's super exciting. But this is the real reason that I get excited about this program. Just look at the smiles on those faces, although she's not smiling yet. She's work mastering cursive writing, but this is the result of the decisions that we made to open New York as a Montessori school. So you may recall a few years ago we closed Kennedy, and so I want to just provide a community update on what's taking place at Kennedy Early Childhood Community Center. Kennedy operates birth through age 5 services for the community there, for the entire community. We have our Parents as Teachers program there. They are operating close to 80 students there. There's a new initiative this year with Parents as Teachers. They're working closely with Free State High School and Lawrence High School to provide awareness of Parents as Teacher services and early childhood developmental milestones for high school students. There's an Infants and Toddlers of Douglas County. It's formerly called Tiny K. That's housed there at Kennedy Early Childhood Center. That services close to 200 children and families. We have our pre-K readiness classrooms there. This includes students that may meet certain at-risk qualifiers, students with IEPs, again, those that are birth to 5. Our early childhood special education classes are there. We have some peer model classes there where there are some students that are students with disabilities in those classrooms. We have appointment services for families and students where they can drop in and have some play dates and engage in some other parents and teachers initiatives. And then, we were struggling with hiring classified staff. And so thanks to our board, we opened what we call a benefit classroom. And it's a classroom for our classified staff. And so if you are a classified staff in this district and childcare was a barrier for you in terms of employment, you get the opportunity to have your 3 or 4-year-old attend Kennedy absolutely free. So really excited about the work that's taking place over there at Kennedy. If you ever get a moment where you're down, go over there and spend some time with 3 and 4-year-olds. I tell you, it is the highlight sometimes of my week when I get a chance to go over there. Most recently, we closed Broken Arrow Elementary School, and what's housed in Broken Arrow is our Native American Student Services, and this is an image actually star quotes from Native American Student Services graduation last year. But our Native American Student Services is there. They were formerly housed in the district office, and their office was right across the hall from my office. And when talking to Kenny St. Pierre there, he shared with me that there were about 10 to 12 families that came to the office, again at 110 McDonald, the district office, to take part in Native American Youth Services. 10 to 12 the entire year last year. And so as of today, he serviced over 200 families at Broken Arrow. 200 families. And what he shared with me is that sometimes governmental buildings, like the school district office, can be a barrier for families that want to come in and access service. But to put Native American Student Services in the community is beginning to pay dividends. They've hosted several other events out there, including healing circles. They had K-State Indigenous Peoples Day, the Johnson O'Malley Program Conference, BYU, when they were in town, they had a literacy night there. They do ET, professional development. They build relationships with the 4 tribes of Kansas. And they're working with other tribes that have historical ties to Kansas. And so it's a lot of positive and exciting work going on with our Native American Student Services. Not only do they provide support and services there, they also provide outreach to our schools. And Kenny was sharing with me that most recently Free State had the highest number of Indigenous students in their club. And so it's truly remarkable the work that Kenny and his staff, one other, is doing over at Broken Arrow. So when we think about Pinckney, there's some really great things happening at Pinckney School. It houses our community connections, and this was formerly our CTRAN program for our students with disabilities ages 18 to 21. The image on the screen shows Jenna Viscomi, who was a secondary special education coordinator at Community Connections. She was honored with the Building Administrator of the Month. And when touring the building and talking to Jenna, she shared with me that for the first time, this program used to be housed in East Heights. If you know what that is, it's a flat, one-level building. And she said for the first time in this new space, the scholars have an opportunity to sit down and eat lunch together. And so just think about what that does from a social skills standpoint, that the first time ever, all of the students at Community Connections get an opportunity to sit down and eat lunch at the same time. Not only that, they now have a health clinic and a nurse. And so that was a huge addition to the program. They have a designated space to work on pre-vocational skills, and these are the skills that they need to be successful adults in the world of work. 2 of the former kindergarten classrooms are being transformed to loft-style apartments to teach independent living skills for our scholars there. And many thanks to Bill Self, who donated some cabinets that would be installed there at Pinckney. We will plan, and in addition, there's an art space now for them. They have a library, which I also hear is the place where they do their podcast out of as well. They're also working on a wellness center on that second floor. We are planning a ribbon cutting and an open house for the community to come in and see some of the many exciting things that are taking place once everything is complete. We also recall, as a result of the Futures Planning Committee, the community told us that we should be looking at additional ways to save money. And so community members suggested that we look at solar energy. At its May 8th school board meeting, the board held a work session to learn about the feasibility and the possibility, the benefits of solar power to the district. So this discussion included determining that Prairie Park would be a great pilot project because of the south-facing sections of the metal roof there that has a 50-year life expectancy. So more to come on that in terms of potential savings there, but most importantly, what I'm excited about is the opportunity for learning for students not only at Prairie Park, learning about solar energy, but also students across the district. And the building that we're in, really excited about what's taking place there. Let me say this again. Remember I said the choir goes and sings the good news. Liberty Memorial Central Middle School is not closing. See, Liberty Memorial Central Middle School is not closing. It's out there somewhere, but it's not. I'll tell you, it's not closing. I was visiting here at this school probably about 2 weeks ago, and I had a student come up to me and say, "Why are you closing our school?" I said, "We're not closing your school. We are doing just the opposite." So you remember our September 26th board meeting, our board heard an update from our middle school redesign committee. And one of the goals of this committee is to present a recommendation that would repurpose Liberty Memorial Central Middle School with a special curricular focus. And so this group had collected feedback from students, families, and educators. Many of you may have participated in those surveys. And so this report provided an update on the committee's progress to date and the future actions in terms of preparing for a recommendation to the board, who will come back to the board in December. And so the committee told the board that after their review of the student data and the staff and community input, guided them to explore a science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, or STEAM theme, a curricular focus for Liberty Memorial Central Middle School. As a matter of fact, one of the pieces of data they collected came from like a career interest inventory, and of the top 50 careers, about 45, 46 were all STEAM related. And so we're really excited about what's to take place here. And so after hearing that middle school redesign committee report, Brenda Hoover, who's also one of our superintendent advisory council members and a junior at Lawrence High School, she said, "You guys are cooking up something really good, and I'm really very excited to see it." So we're celebrating 100 years this year, and we're beginning to think about what the next 100 years will look like for Liberty Memorial Central Middle School. So stay tuned. The committee will come back to the board in December. And so right now, I'm very excited about what's to take place, not only here at Liberty, but things that are taking place at some of the other buildings. But I'll tell you right now, I'm excited to hear another student perform. Are you all ready? Yeah. Let's break some of this up. Are you tired of hearing from me? I had the amazing pleasure of hearing this talented student at the Lawrence Schools Foundation Community Breakfast. Again, you're about to be dazzled by Harrison Leiszler. Many thanks to Harrison's dad, Chris, for being here, and your mom, Harrison. That's your little brother as well? Yep, he's here as well to see you and to hear from you. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Harrison Leiszler from West Middle School. break out a little dance over here. I'm distracted. That was amazing. That was amazing, man. I mean, how do you follow that? And so let me just go ahead and try to wrap this up as quickly as possible. But I did want to, Harrison, thank you so much. That was awesome. I mean, the talent that it takes to, first of all, operate the equipment, but then to do it in such a way that makes it sound good. It's just, you get it here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. There he is, Harrison Leiszler. So he was playing. So I just want to share a little bit about, in terms of staff, school, and district celebrations. There are so many reasons to be proud of Lawrence Public Schools. There are so many reasons to celebrate the results that we were able to accomplish last year. You know, we often hear about the negative on social media or sometime in the community, and I want to share some things that I'm proud of that we have been doing here in Lawrence Public Schools. And so, first of all, your Lawrence Public Schools went through a very rigorous process. Our teaching and learning team led the process that your Lawrence Public Schools is accredited for the next 5 years. And so that was a huge, massive amount of work that demonstrates our focus on improvement. And so to earn state accreditation with glowing accolades from the state's outside visitation team is truly remarkable. In addition, just 2 weeks ago, I received a letter from State of Education Commissioner Randy Watson detailing areas in which our school district is excelling and is to be commended. So he sent an email, and in his email he shared that he's excited to get the opportunity to celebrate our success and that we have been doing great work with students that deserves to be recognized. And so he has honored us, the state has honored us with the Silver Star recognition for social and emotional growth. In addition, we were awarded the Copper Star recognition, the Kansans Copper Star recognition for academically preparing our students for post-secondary success, and that's essentially our work that we've been doing with our state assessments. I'm going to run through these next ones. You can read some of those on the screen. Many of you have probably already heard about some of these. Our national recognition, Dr. Bill DeWitt over at our College Career Center. We received the Magna Award. That was the Magna Award Grand Prize for supporting graduation in an innovative way and personal success and well-being for traditional students who have struggled to find their way through high school. So that was a national award that we won there. The amazing Amanda Atkins over at Sunset Hill was the Kansas Counselor of the Year. Jeff Dixon there won the Darina and Eddie Ryan Award for Best Girls Basketball Coach in the greater Kansas City area. Our Free-State debate coach and debate team just racks up awards. Quarterly, who I see Principal Weaver here is in the audience, won 2 national equity grants. And so that's huge. Thank you so much, Ms. Weaver, you and your staff there. There's others there, Matt Ellis, Katie Wolf, Teaching Excellence, Lisa Ball, Fulbright, Global Classroom Fellowship. So tons of accolades for our staff. We had 15 National Merit Scholars, both high schools. Michael Vito, the National African American Recognition Program Scholar. Wendell Kamore, who was a Free State graduate, Princeton Prize for Race Relations Award. Performing Arts, I mean, the list goes on. 8th appearance for the National Future City Competition, Southwest. 6 gold and silver keys from Lawrence High School. National, and this is one that's I'm really proud of, as I'm proud of all of these, but the National Special Olympic Model for Inclusive School at LHS. The work that they do there with their IPS program is truly remarkable. And state champion for improvisation team, Free State. Wait, there's more. The amazing Demetrius Kemp, who's a security officer at Free State. The work that he does inside Free State and just for this community is truly remarkable. Certainly a hero among us. We had some elementary and secondary teacher awards. The 2023 elementary teacher is Kristen Oswald, and Lori Byers of Billy Mills was the secondary Kansas Teacher of the Year. Our principals, elementary and secondary principal of the year, Jackie Mickle and Matt Rink. Kansas Teacher of the Year, Region 2. Zach Saltz was also honored there with Monica Dutcher. Both of our high schools. Did I miss something?
Zach's here.
Oh, Zach's here. Yeah, Zach is working with 308 Productions. Thank you, Zach. Where's Zach? Hey, yeah, award-winning Zach. There he is in the back. Thanks for bringing your Amber. Having your team here as well to record this. Both of our high schools are in the top 25 in the state of Kansas, according to U.S. News and World Report, best high school rankings, and that's out of 386 high schools in the state. So that's certainly something to be proud of. And the district launched its own fiber wide area network to serve students and staff with high-speed internet. And so this project will save an estimated $3 million out of our general fund during the life of the contract. And the second phase of this project will provide service to families without reliable internet. Pretty soon we'll begin to put our towers up or latch onto some of the city water towers for cellular services through those devices. I do want to get to some challenges that in ways that we can address some of these. I won't go through all of those, but again, academics. When we look at our strategic plan, these are one of the 2 areas that we wanted to work on: third grade reading proficiency. As you can see, according to our most recent state assessment, about 45% of our third graders scored level 3 and 4. And I also mentioned our 8th grade math as a district. Even though we're outperforming the state in both of those areas, we still have a tremendous amount of work to do there. Well, here we're not outperforming the state. We're at 21% for math. So that's a challenge for us in terms of making sure that we're providing quality education on every single campus, in every single classroom. We are seeing an increase in terms of the number of students that are receiving at-risk funds. Well, not students, but our schools are receiving at-risk funds as a result of an increased number of students on the free and reduced lunch rate. We also, this is the work that we're doing in our schools and our professional learning communities. This is where our teachers and administrators go through. They ask those 4 PLC or professional learning community questions as it relates to how students are doing academically. In addition, when we look at our student subgroups, we're looking at what does the data show about how we're educating our students from marginalized identities. And so beginning to zero in and having that laser-like focus on every single student is the ways that we're addressing some of these challenges. I'm going to save this for future board meetings for the sake of time, but Patrick Kelly's going to take our board and community through the Every Child Can Read Act and its requirements there. But as a result of this, many of our teachers have gone through letters training. And that's a very extensive training that really teaches teachers all about the skills that it needs to produce skillful readers. And so to date, we have about 220 of our teachers that have taken this course. And so we know that this is research-based training that's based on the science of teaching and reading, and we certainly know that this will have positive effects on our students. You may have seen our enrollment is down. about 299 students, and this is head count. And so what you're seeing here is what was submitted last year, about 10,957 students we had last year. Each September 20th, we have what we call count day. We submit the total number of students that's enrolled on that day, and then we submit that to the state. These numbers are not audited until normally the spring, and so that's why it has a little asterisk there. So you can clearly see we're down about 299 students. I think what's also important to note that we had 944 seniors that left us last year, and only 674 kindergartners came in this year. In addition, we noticed that we were down in terms of FTE in our Lawrence Virtual School in enrollment. And so we're beginning to comb through that data to not only find, looking at this, but find out were there other students that left us, where they went. We're also looking at the number of students that have come into our district. We'll continue to go through that data. But when we think about 674 kindergartners coming in, we're seeing the impact of a declining birth rate here in Douglas County. And it's really a national decline in birth rates. And so obviously if individuals are not having children as they used to, we will see 5 years later a low enrollment in terms of that kindergarten class. This is something that's certainly not new to Lawrence Public Schools. If we take a look at our 20-year enrollment history, there's been some peaks and valleys and ups and downs along the way. And so it's really important for us to really look at our enrollment, see what are some things that we can do to attract families to Lawrence, but most importantly, what are we doing to make sure we're creating quality programs here for all of our students. Staffing is another challenge for us, and so making sure that we're able to not only recruit, but retain the best possible staff that our scholars deserve. So there are some things that we've done in terms of retention payments, in addition to partnering with Educators Perception and Insight Center, or EPIC, and the Kansas Teacher Retention Initiative, which looks at what are those drivers that influence staff to stay or leave a school system. And so as a matter of fact, this year's survey is out right now, and we're asking all of our staff to complete that quick 10-minute survey to get the results so we can compare to last year. And so we are certainly committed to understanding their working experiences, and we want to learn from our staff in terms of their feedback to identify ways to best engage and retain our employees. We looked at our certified exits. I know you may have heard rumors sometimes that staff are leaving the district in droves. Well, our data does not support that. And so as you can see, we are down from the previous year in terms of certified staff exits. And so this is the total from last year. We had a total of 208 staff that left us in, 22. Last year, that was down to 177. Still, we don't want any staff to leave. This includes retirements too. And so we also, our HR department captures by date, say by November 1, by December 1, how many staff have left at that time. And so as of November 1, 21, 22, we had 20 staff to leave, 22, 23, 14, and as of October 20th, only 8 staff had chose to leave us. We do exit interviews. Those staff that do complete that exit interview, and our HR staff looks at that. We've also been hearing about public relations, and for example, how Kansas school finance is so hard to understand, and how we need to do a better job of telling our own story. You met Julie, well, you already knew Julie Wall, who does an amazing job with our communications. But her and her team have began to create these one-pagers that kind of shows in an easy to understand format about school finance and budgeting. So we'll continue to create more of those to share, and we encourage you to share those things and correct any misinformation that may be out there. In addition, you may see from time to time little 2-3 minute videos that I do. So these are some of the ones that I've done this year, just updating the community on some of the things that we are able to accomplish, and maybe kind of just provide more information out into the community. In addition, and as a matter of fact, this was an idea that actually came from my Superintendent Advisory Council. I see Ann Costello is here. She's a member of my Superintendent Advisory Council. So I have 2 advisory councils, one for students and one for staff and parents. Are there any other Superintendent Advisory Council members here? And so some of the feedback that we've been receiving from those councils, one of the students and one of the parents one of the students, one of the staff members shared these two quotes. One is, I feel like I'm asked my opinion often and asked to serve on committees to problem solve and discuss school concerns. I do feel I have a voice. That was from a teacher on my Superintendent Advisory Council. And a student shared this quote: I value the sense of community and strong voice that the student bodies at both high schools have. It's important because it helps us gain the ability to come together with our peers despite differences to solve the problem. And so I just wanted to share some of our student voices there, that they are beginning to feel heard. Still a lot of work to do in that area. Chronic absenteeism is another challenge for us. And, chronic absenteeism is when a student missed 10% or more of school. And so our last year's number, we've got about close to 30% of our students missed 10% or more of school. And so as you can see over the past few years, and we were above the state average. We don't want to be above the state average here. We want to be below the state average here when it comes to chronic absenteeism. Even looking at our average daily attendance, although we did see a slight increase from 21 to 22-23 school year, we still need to be above 95% when it comes to average daily attendance. And so that student's coming to school every single day and on time. That counts excused and unexcused absences. And so we started a campaign that every day matters. And so you can help us spread that word in terms of maintaining school attendance and the importance and that it has and how it's essential to academic success. The goal of this campaign is ultimately to improve daily attendance and to reduce chronic absenteeism. We think about behavior. That's a challenge for us in terms of discipline, particularly at the middle school level. So this just quickly shows the number of behavior infractions, the blue bars, and the number of students that have committed those behavior infractions. And so we all know that when a teacher has to stop instruction to address behavior, it takes away from the learning, obviously, of that student, but the learning of others. Our administrators are dealing with discipline in terms of those infractions. It's taking away their time from being in the classroom providing support to our teachers. And so this is an area that our principals and our staff are constantly working on. Many of our staff have been trained in restorative practices. That is beginning to pay dividends. This is based on last year's data. About 80%, restorative practices was used in about 80% of the behavior entries from fourth quarter of last year. And so how can you help? We'll talk about that as I close. And so I will tell you this. As a superintendent, I stand here tonight to tell you that because of our dedicated staff, our dedicated families, and our talented scholars, the state of our schools is strong. However, it can be a lot stronger. And we will get there. It will be stronger when we continue to work together. We have a good school system, but we will get to great. And so ways that you can help. One is become a mentor. There's a body of research that shows a laundry list of benefits that come from students having an adult in their school building whom they can trust. There is also research that supports having a mentor who may not be in their building, how it increases attendance, which we just talked about, better grades, higher test scores, which we talked about tonight, a sense of belonging and connectedness to schools, and a belief in oneself as a learner. In addition, by having a mentor, students are less likely to skip school, less likely to be involved in violence, abuse drugs, or alcohol, or repeat negative cycles. And so the ask is we have partnered with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Lawrence Schools Foundation and Boys and Girls Club to expand our partnership. An ultimate goal is for every student in this district to have a mentor outside of the family. Every single student in this district to have a mentor. And the ask is simple. The site-based mentorship is the one that we're expanding, where it typically involves elementary students in the bigs meet with the littles, or the mentor meets with the mentee for a minimum of one school year for about 30 minutes a week during lunch or during another time of day. And so how you do that is take out your phone and scan this QR code and sign up to be a mentor. I'll wait. You see the phones yet? If you don't have your phone and you turn it off because you're paying too much attention You can reach out to our big brothers and big sisters of Kansas. Jeffrey Jack, Jeffrey Jack with Kansas Big Brothers Big Sisters. I've gone through the training. I am waiting on them to do the background check, so I hope everything on my background check will come back okay. But I have always mentored students, and so I want to make it official. And so I, again, like I said, going through the training, I encourage you, it's 30 minutes a week to pour into some of our young students here in this district. And so as we embark on what lies ahead for Lawrence Public Schools, I want to underscore the power and the significance of unity. This community has a way of rallying together around a cause that is important to them. Our children are that cause. They need me. I need you. And I will tell you, your allegiance does not have to be to me, but it does have to be to all 10,658 of our scholars. Just as a bundle of sticks is unbreakable when bound together, a community of learners, innovators, a community of leaders can come together and do some remarkable things. In the face of challenges, be they academic, financial, social, or personal, remember together we can overcome any obstacle and emerge even stronger on the other side. And we've proven that time after time again. And so my charge to you is let us embrace the power of togetherness. Let us celebrate our differences, for they are certainly the brushstrokes that paint the masterpiece of our school community. Let us amplify our strengths, for they are the foundation of our shared success. And let us never forget that as we stand united, we are not just a school district, but a force to be reckoned with, shaping a brighter future for all of our scholars. Again, thank you so much for being here. Let us all journey forward together, stronger, wiser, together. Again, thank you for being here. I do want to acknowledge we do have building principals in the audience. Wave your hand, building principals. Thank you so much for your leadership. We have two of our award-winning school resource officers in the back that support our scholars and our students that keep them safe. Members of district staff and the other universities, 407 employees in the building, wave your hand. Thank you so much for being here. Parents, wave your hand. Thank you. We cannot do this without you. Thank you all so much for being here. Before we end this evening, we have one more special student performance to enjoy. Would you please help me welcome Lawrence Free State High School Orchestra Director Heather Madgwick and the Free State Chamber Orchestra as they come to the stage. Let's give them a hand.
Good evening. We're going to play two little pieces here to finish off at the end. The first one's the American Quartet by Dvorak, and then the second piece we'll play is Les Folies d'Espagne by William Rhodes.
Thank